Where's my bookmarks? Haru. Let's see, would you mind grabbing the Shulchan Aruch? It's right there. It says call. It's right there. Stick your hand up. Stick your hand up. To the left. 3 books to the left. Yeah, right there. The big one. Yeah. Thank you. No. This is a complicated one.
What's the subject?
Swimming on Shabbat. This is a complicated topic.
Are you sure you want to go there?
No.
Ignorance is bliss.
That's why we're going there.
Huh?
I'm not sure. That's why we have to go there. Once you know.
If you swim.
Thank you, David. I just want to give the information and let people make a decision.
Man. Rabbi gives the whole reason, goes explanation of why it's okay, and then he said, but you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. This is an interesting soup. Okay, Rabotai. We have 2 yard sites, 2 azkarot that we want to mention here. Thank you to our friend first, Eddie, Ro'i ben Eni Hayim, Eddie Hayim ben Mosley, and also our dear friend Ezra Levi in memory of his mother. Tomorrow is the 1 year, yeah? Simcha bat Malka. Make sure you still come to shul after the Kaddish is finished, Ezra. You know he'll be here. Okay, so today's topic, Rabotai, whenever you're ready. Ready, guys?
Guys, focus.
Today's topic is complicated. It's gonna take 2 weeks, I think, to finish the whole topic. So bear with me. We're gonna start now. The topic is going to be a question I was asked, 4 times in the last 10 days. Can I swim on Shabbat? Can I swim on Yom Tov? It's a question everybody wants to know. And it's complicated. So we're going to go slow. A reminder to those who come here and those who are not, this is not a 1-minute halakha shiur. This is not a 1 minute, you got your answer. This is a building shiur. We're going to have to build it slowly. It's not just to give you the halakha.
Some folks said this weekend I'm not going to swim.
This weekend, don't do nothing. Don't move. Why? Because the whole point of this shiur, really honestly, my goal, be honest with you, is when you come to discuss the halakha that we learned with someone, when you discuss, someone says, hey, Liron, don't walk, there's a light that's going to go on in the street. I want you to not just say, oh, the rabbi said it's asur, oh, the rabbi said it's mutar. I want you to have intelligence. You should know what you're talking about. Give some reason, have some substance. So we're going to build some substance. We're going to start now. I'm following the pattern by Chacham Yitzhak Yosef. Chacham Yitzhak Yosef in Yalkut Yosef, he talks about this, like Yossi said, it's a big topic. So I'm going to go in the order he goes. The first step is as follows. There's something called exercising on Shabbat. And I don't want to get too much into this, but I just have to give a little bit of an intro to the topic. It's called Ritza V'Hit Amilut B'Shabbat. It's exercising on Shabbat. It says in the Gemara, Im tashiv mishabat raglecha, asot hafatzecha b'yom kochi, which literally means if you rest your feet on this day, Im tashiv mishabat raglecha, v'karata l'shabbat oneg, and you call Shabbat oneg, enjoyable. Mikal landu hazar, we learn from here, שצריך שיהיה הילוך שבת בנחת ולא כהילוך ביום חול. That we have to relax on Shabbat. And this is actually an Itai, Gemara Shabbat 113, Amud Aleph, Kuf Yud Gimel. Says the Gemara Shabbat, page 113, Amud Aleph, V'chibadeto me'asot derechecha. You honor Shabbat from doing what you usually do. V'chibadeto, you honor it. Me'asot derechecha, from doing what you usually do. It means you stop doing what you normally do. Says the Gemara, V'chibadeto, you honor Shabbat, shelo yehem mabushecha shel Shabbat ki mabushecha shel chol. You should not wear the same clothes on Shabbat that you wear during the weekday. The Mifashim, the Poskim discuss shoes. Shoes might be an exception, that you can wear shoes of a weekday on Shabbat, but other clothing has to be Shabbat clothing. V'chiha the Rabbi Yohanan, and why would the word V'chitbadeto honor Shabbat? What does that have to do with clothing? Rabbi Yohanan used to say, and he was a very handsome man, Rabbi Yohanan, Kare lemane mechabedutai. When he used to say, get me my clothes, he used to say, get my mechabedutai, get my honors, the things that bring me honor. Me'astot terechecha, from stop doing what you usually do, says the Gemara, shelo yeheh helichucha Shabbat ki helichucha shel. You shouldn't walk as fast on Shabbat as you walk during the week, literally, physically. You should relax on Shabbat. We're not talking about walking to shul. We're talking about stomp walking.
That was a good one.
Walking to shul? Okay, here we go. It's going to be a long night.
Talk about walking home from shul.
So, therefore, there's something called Risa v'hit'amilut b'Shabbat. צריך שיהיה הילוך שבת בנחת ולא כהילוך ביום חול, לכן אסור לרוץ בשבת. You cannot run on Shabbat. And we're not talking about shul, regular stam. You want to run? Shulchan Aruch, by the way, writes this. You're not allowed to run on Shabbat. Hendi letakala, jogging, hendi letzadagila, or regular running. V'hem pesi agasa, or walking very fast. Ela im kimet bar mitzvah, unless you're doing for a mitzvah to go to shul, to visit someone who's sick or whatever, to go to shul, fine.
That's why there's a custom to eat gavini when you're walking.
You
Make sure you're not walking.
leave a whole path. We count the seats. And you're allowed to run to the shul, obviously. We're not talking about that. Okay. Now, to get out of rain, actually, Shulchan Aruch brings it. It's okay also. Okay. Gemara Betzah on page 36 says as follows. Eluhen mishum shirut. The following activities the rabbis forbade to do on Shabbat. These are rabbinically asur on Shabbat. Lo orlin be'ilan. You cannot climb a tree. Why? Because you're afraid you might pick something off the tree, right? Or break a branch. That's rabbinical. That's not from the Torah, to climb a tree. Velo rochbin al gabe behemai. You cannot ride an animal on Shabbat. Velo shatin al penei hamayim, says the Gemara Betzah. You cannot swim on the water. Lo shatin al penei hamayim. And Rashi says, Lo shatin al penei hamayim. Looking for it. Oh, in the Gemara he says it. Okay, so hold on for now. And just to finish this Mishnah, we don't clap hands, or clap the thighs. It's talking about to music, to a beat. You're not supposed to bang to a beat on Shabbat. Or dance. In Chabad, they dance Friday night. You shouldn't. You shouldn't do it.
You shouldn't do that?
Yeah. And not on Shabbat. Where?
I do it in Shabbat.
Yeah, I know. You shouldn't. Yeah, not on Shabbat. Sfaradim are very strict on this, actually.
No, you do it to get quiet. It's different.
Says the Gemara, Lo olim be'ilan. Lo olim be'ilan. You don't climb a tree. Gezerah shema yitlosh. We're afraid you might tear something off of the tree. That's that one. Velo rochbin al gabe behema. You cannot ride on an animal on Shabbat. Why not? Maybe you'll go too far. There's a certain distance you can't travel on Shabbat. And the Gemara says another reason is Shema Yahtoch Zemura. Maybe you'll break off a branch to hit the animal with it to get it moved. Velo shatin al penei hamayim. And we don't swim on Shabbat. Shatin, good question. I'm waiting for. I'm ready for all these things. Lo shatin. We'll use the word swim right now. Gezerah shema ya'aseh habit shel shayatin.
You're gonna make a boat.
A little. Let's call it
That's
a little raft.
Not to swim.
Wow.
So that's the gezerah.
What?
A little
I
raft.
gotta make a raft.
Yeah. Let's see that she.
I've never in my life made a raft.
Okay. Hold on.
Even not swimming.
Okay. Ready? Listen, guys. Give it a chance.
Guys, focus.
We have a lot to do. The Gemara says as follows: Lo shatin al penei hamayim. It's funny. Listen to the words. Lo shatin al penei hamayim. It means on top of the water. It
I
sounds.
was thinking you could swim underneath.
Well, it sounds like it. but
Under.
Let's see. You do not. It can either mean float or it can mean swim.
It sounds float.
It could be both. So let's see Rashi. Rashi says, "What are we afraid?" Yeah, lo shatin. With a tet, not a taf. With a tet. Says Rashi.
Shot, it's like frogging.
You know, we have this word in this week's parasha by the man. Shatu ha'am v'laketu. The people, they walk around and they grab man. Lo shatin. Let's see what Rashi says. What is the gezerah? The gemara and Betzah, the Mishnah and Betzah says you cannot swim. We're afraid you're going to make a little raft. Why would you need a raft? A lot of side talk tonight.
Yes, swim underneath.
Nice.
Rashi says, Habi shel shayatin, keli shel guma, she'orgin oto. It's a vessel, a thing that they create, that they weave. Ve'osin kemin habit arucha. It's like a long barrel. Ve'lamidin bo lashut. And they learn how to swim. It's a teaching device. You ever know like the little kids have those little tiny little rafts? A little, not a floaty, but those little rafty things that they give the kids. What are they called, those things? Swimming boards?
Kickboard.
Oh, boogie board.
Bodyboard? Boogie board? Like the mini boogie boards.
Kickboard.
So that's the gezerah. So it's a gezerah. Maybe the person's going to need to learn how to swim, and he's going to take something, and he's going to sew, or he's going to create it, he's going to break, whatever he's going to do. It's a question what the melacha is. He's going to create for himself a raft. That's why the rabbi said no swimming on Shabbat. We're laughing already. Let's see Rambam. Yossi, I need your attention for this Rambam, okay? I know, because you're going to want to hear this Rambam.
The shot berabim.
Rambam says,
The shoot berabim.
Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon says as follows. There was a Ramban. En misapekin, we don't clap hands. V'lo merakidin, we don't dance. V'lo metapechin, also to smack. Gezerah, shema yitaken keleshir. Why can't you do that? Because maybe you're going to be so into the beat, you're going to need to make an instrument. This is the gezerah of the rabbi.
So if you what?
You're gonna make
It's a shinui. You might make an instrument. So they could use the back of the hand because it's a shinui maybe, but listen to the ban. Ulsapek kila'ahal yad mutad. If you use the shinui, use the back of your hand, it's gonna be okay because it's a shinui, so it's like a reminder, or it's not in the gezerah that you're not gonna make a klishit. Now it's important to note, just to say out loud, this gezerah is talking about dafka musical things. So if you want to say wake up, that's not called music. So Chacham says you're allowed to do this to wake up. Now you can't clap on Shabbat. You can't snap to a beat on Shabbat, right? You can't do that. But you can say, "I need you. Come here." That you could do because that's not music. All right? We're talking about only in the music you can't do. En shatin Rambam. En shatin al penei hamayim. You don't swim on the water. Gezerah. Shema yitaken habisha shayatin. Maybe you'll make this raft. And then the Rambam, he got this from the Gemara that we just read. But now he adds his own words that's not in the Gemara. Says the Rambam, berecha, a pool, shebehatzeh, that's in your yard, mutar lashut betocha. You can swim in that. She'eno ba la'asot habisha shayatin. No one's going to make a raft in their pool in their house. Vehu, however, as long as, says Rambam, sheyela safa mukefet, that it has a lip all the way around, shelo ya'aked mimena hamayim, that the water cannot go out of the pool. It stays inside. Kedei sheyeh haked vehefresh beina u'benayam. So everyone knows this is not a river, this is not a natural body of water. Rambam sounds like, wow, if you read this Rambam, it sounds like you're golden. So we can close the book now and go, yeah? So the Rambam says, if there's a lip around the pool, you get rid of this hashash of the raft. So the way Shulchan, the Yalkut Yosef, Chacham Yitzhak talks about, he's going to line up a lot of problems that we might have, and we'll see if we can get rid of these problems. So the problem of the gezerah from a pool with a lip, and every pool these days has a lip around the pool, a wall.
Some of them have sand.
It would seem it's as long as it's a barrier that the water won't get out.
No, it's full zero.
Are there flat pools? Oh, some hotels have that.
No, it's an
Yeah.
infinity pool. It's not, but it's not, the water won't go out anyway.
Because it's caved in a little bit?
No, it's just a false lip.
Ah. Okay, so the Rambam. Good. Let's see Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says, let me bookmark these. Shulchan Aruch 326. Says Shulchan Aruch, Asur lirchotz kol gufo. Now, this halakha of swimming, it's going to intertwine so many Shabbat things. So we're going to have to keep our heads. There's a separate inyan of rechitza, of bathing, of washing on Shabbat. So asur lirchotz kol gufo. You can't wash your whole body on Shabbat. Afilu kol ebed ve'ebed lebad, even limb by limb, not as one whole time. But I'm going to wash every part of my body, not the shower on me. I'm going to put the shower to the side, and I'll wash one body part.
From the hot water issues.
Well, let's see. Even if the hot water is already hot from yesterday, you have a tank full of boiling hot water from yesterday. You can't do this on Shabbat. It doesn't matter if it's a shower or the floor. You can't even pour it on you. But if the water was heated from before Shabbat, you can wash your hands, your face, and your legs. And I'll add also, you can wash the dishes with this water as well. If you had water that was heated from before Shabbat. But even so, to turn on water and heat water on Shabbat to take a shower, absolutely not. What if I have water that's already in the boiler from yesterday? On Shabbat, you may not take a full body hot shower. It's a gezerah from the rabbis. Straight out Shulchan Aruch and straight out Gemara. Now, I'm going to read you another Shulchan Aruch. 339. This is the swimming pool Shulchan Aruch. Let's see if he says the same thing that Rambam says. En shatin al penei hamayim. We can't swim on the water. Afilu beberecha shebehatzer, even in your private pool. Because if the water will escape your pool and go out, it's exactly like a river, and there's a gezerah on the river. Then you might make a raft. So far, it's the same as the Rambam. If it has a lip all the way around, mutad, it's going to be allowed. So Maran and Rambam. Even if the water splashes, the wall brings it back. It's not called a body of water, it's called a contained water. It's in a vessel, it's in a big vessel. Once the water is in a vessel, like a bathtub, for example, no one's going to think you're going to make a raft in the bathtub. And the same thing, no one's going to think you're going to make a raft in a swimming pool. So Manash Haruch says the same exact thing. And Rambam say it's not a problem from the raft. The question is, are there other problems? And the biggest problem we have to think about is what I just read you a second ago, the hot water. Because you can't take a hot shower on Shabbat. You can't bathe in hot water on Shabbat.
What's the reason?
It's a gezerah.
Based on?
Because they might heat the water for you. They might heat the water.
Okay.
So,
What about hot tub?
no, you cannot go in hot. You can't immerse your whole body
In hot water.
only in Hameh Tiberia. Only in Hameh Tiberia. The hot springs of Tiberia is the only one you're allowed, and only if the water is still in the Hameh Tiberia. If they took the Hameh Tiberia and they put it in a huge bucket, you can't go in the bucket. So Hameh Tiberia is the only thing allowed because the Gemara says if it's solar heated, the water itself is solar powered, solar heated, and the ground heated, nothing to do with fire, then it's going to be fine.
Oh, so that's fine.
No. Not sort of the way we think of it. Hamet Tiberia, the whole essence of the water is hot from nature. Yeah.
Because in Israel they have
Dudes. The dudes are no good for Shabbat. So Yom Tov could be a different issue. Because even if you have the hot water in the dude, you can't get around the Shulchan Aruch. You can't go in the hot water on Shabbat, your whole body. So we have to start thinking, the pool. Rambam and Maran Shulchan Aruch says, if the wall of the pool is there, you're kosher. The question is this. Number one, what if the pool is heated? What do you do about the hot water?
They don't go into that. They don't
talk about that.
They don't talk about that.
Because,
so why?
Well, maybe they didn't have pool heaters in the times of the Rambam.
Yeah.
So maybe he's talking about a cold pool.
But you have the Rambam and you have the Maran saying you can swim in the pool. Why are we looking for?
Because those days they didn't have heaters. So the question is, they're not trying to infringe perhaps on the hot water issue. They're just talking about the rest issue. You understand? So that's a big question we have to deal with.
Okay.
Is the heated pool. If the pool is not heated, it seems, according to Rambam, that it would be okay.
In summertime, the water is warming up by the sun.
So we have to discuss it.
Right.
We have to discuss it. So there's a bunch of things we have to figure out here. So let's read Yakut Yosef. So says Hakam Yitzhak Yosef. You ready? This is what we have to do. This is our agenda for this week and next week. Binidon rechitza beberecha b'Shabbat. Talking about going in the pool on Shabbat. Yesh ladun misat tet inyanim. There's 9 topics we have to address. Yeah, number 1. We're going to summarize them and then we'll go into them. Im yesh lahush bazeh le'isur hit'amilut. Is it exercise? We just said you can't exercise on Shabbat. So can you swim laps? Would Rambam say you can swim a lap in the pool? Probably not. So let's see. So far, the allowable pool would be the Rambam's pool with a lift. Let's say cold water, no laps. Okay, just relaxing.
Cold water or not?
We have to see. We have the heat. We have to talk about the heat in a minute.
Right.
In yesh bazeh gezat hazal shelo lashut b'mayim b'Shabbat. The rabbi said he can't swim in Shabbat, so the Rambam would be allowing this. So let's do the first 2. Misad isurat amil b'Shabbat, regarding exercising on Shabbat. Kishu shoheh, it's shoheh, right? Soheh. When soheh beberecha, and soheh, is that the modern word used for swim?
Swimming.
Okay. Yesh lomad, you can say. Nobody thinks you're in a pool for exercise really these days. You're just trying to relax. I don't think, says the Chamitzak, it's a problem of exercising on Shabbat to be in the pool. That's true, but we have an actual gezerah though. We have to make sure the gezerah doesn't apply. But Rambam will help with that. So it doesn't seem that you're in the pool to exercise. So therefore, I think the exercise is not a problem, says Yakut Yosef. Next one. Now, it's not, when you read the Gemara in the art school, they use the word float and swim for lashut. It says in the Mishnah Beitzah, like we said, she'asur lashut al pnei hamayim b'Shabbat, that you can't swim. And Shulchan Aruch says the same thing. You can't swim, even a private pool. Why? Because the water will go out. However, and I gave you the information beforehand, if there is a safa misaviv, if there's a lip around it, it's going to be allowed because the water won't go out. Well, according to this, any pool that has a lip and a wall around it, it's not like a river or a sea. Therefore, there's no reason to think anyone will make a raft. And therefore, swimming wouldn't be a problem. So exercise, not a problem, it seems. You can't swim, the Mishnah Beitzah. If someone shows you the Mishnah Beitzah, it says you can't swim. Say, no, Rambam. You got to read the Rambam. And so that seems not to be a problem.
Sorry.
The Mishnah says you can't swim. Rambam adds a clause and says if there's a lip, it's allowed.
It seems like maybe in the Mishnah times they didn't quote it, but they had tools too. They had it in weak times.
So what I'm trying to say to you, Roy, is if someone would show you this Mishnah, Betzah, yeah, and someone says, it says in the Mishnah, in Shatina Pnei Hamayim, it says in the Mishnah. If someone will show you this Mishnah, you have to answer him. You have to look at the Rambam. The Rambam says the Mishnah is talking about when there's no lip. If there is lip, it's lip. So the two possibilities so far, we kind of did away with them. It's not a problem of exercise, and it's not a problem of reft swimming. Problem number 3. Sihita bisa'arot harosh ohaza ken. Zakin or zakat? Zakan. Squeezing water from your hair or your beard. I want to read you Gemara Shabbat. Another Gemara Shabbat. We're going now to 128b. Gemara Shabbat 128b says as follows. If you have a woman, so someone's going to tell you, you can't go in the pool because you're going to squeeze your hair. So let's turn to Gemara 128b. What are we talking about here? It's towards the bottom of the page, if you're following. It's talking about a woman who is about to give birth. We break Shabbat for a woman who's about to give birth. Whatever she needs, we do. It's called sakana. Says the Gemara. If a woman who's about to give birth says, I need a candle, I need light, then her friend lights the candle for her. Because she's pregnant, she's about to give birth, we do whatever she says. If she says she needs light, she knows she needs light. You have to trust the patient. Even if she's blind. Even if she's blind, and she says, the doctor needs light. And the doctor says, I don't need light. The doctor needs light, give her the light. It makes her comfortable, this is what she needs. Next. If she says, I need oil. I need oil. I need it. Then the friend should come and bring her the oil in her hand like this. If she says it's not enough, I need a lot more oil, then let her tie the oil to one of her hair and bring her the oil on Shabbat. Because the oil, there's no use for it. I'm not talking about tasting oil. I'm talking about burning oil. So on Shabbat, there's no use for it. So we try to use a shinui if possible.
So we're going to bring her less than a kazayit of oil or what?
No. Try to bring her a little. Say, is this what you need in a hand, not in the kili? If she says any more, then try to do a shinui. Put the hair in the little, okay. If that's not going to be enough, just bring her the jug of oil. Do whatever she wants. Amar Mar, Peshita. If she needs a candle, you bring her a candle, Peshita. It's obvious. You're not going to light a candle for a lady that's about to give birth. That's what I told you. No, Silicha Besuma. No, we're talking about a blind lady. Even a blind lady, that's the Hidush. Even a blind lady, you'll light a candle for her. You would say, she can't see. What does she care? It's not real sakana. Kamash Malan. You see that the religion we have? You need to put the woman's mind at ease. She wants a candle in the room. Doesn't matter if she's blind. Give her the candle. Sabra kamidi. She thinks that there's a reason that we need a candle. And my friend will see better if there's room. I want my friend to see good. That's going to make me relax. So you do what she says. Says the Gemara. We said if she needs oil. Now, if she puts the oil, if she actually pours the oil in her hair, first we try pouring some oil in her hair, let it drip down into her friend. Do a shinui. The Gemara says, but you're going to be squeezing out the oil from the hair. Isn't it? How is she going to give the hair from her oil? Yeah, I said that right? To give the oil from her hair. It's going to be squeezing oil from the hair. Gemara says, Rabba v'Rabbi Yosef ta'amei tavayu en sehita b'se'ar. There is no prohibition to squeeze hair on Shabbat.
Okay.
Why? Because why?
It doesn't absorb water.
Ezra is always on the money because when you squeeze, let's say, a lemon on Shabbat, you're taking the juice that's inside the lemon and squeezing it out. Hair doesn't hold water. What are you really doing? The water is between the hairs. That's not squeezing. So it's
50.
it's mifarek, maybe it's bringing it out, but it's not sihita. And so therefore the Gemara says straight out, in sihita b'se'ad. So what are we afraid of? So says the Gemara, says the Chamitzak Yosef, if you look at Gemara 128, in sihita b'se'ad. What is the reason? Hair doesn't soak the water itself. The water is between the hairs. If you look at the Rambam, which we will, always want to make sure we get the Rambam. And I think I put a note that the Rambam's in a different place, actually, that he says it is. He says it's 2:11. I think it's 2:8.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The Rambam and Maran both say we're allowed to swim in a pool that's with a border.
Yeah.
Then why is Yitzchak Yosef going above and beyond and saying, okay, yes, they said this, but here are other reasons why? Where is he getting these other?
Very good. Because Rambam, we have to understand, what is he talking about? Is he talking about going in there naked? What is he talking about? Is he talking about a heated pool? Is he talking about swimming laps? He doesn't say. So we have to define it. He's talking about.
But are they looking at other sources that say this may be an issue, or are they creating the?
There are sources that say. There's lots here. There's lots of sources that say it might be an issue. But so what he's doing is he's collecting all the issues and he wants to address them one by one. So anything everyone ever said about swimming, that's what his approach to it.
That's interesting.
So Rambam says straight out, but it's not in the same place that Chamitzak says the Rambam is. I think it's 23. He says, like the Gemara says, there's no squeezing with hair. It's rabbinical. If you remember last time we met, we spoke about brushing hair on Shabbat, I think, right? Brushing hair on Shabbat is midrabanan. It's not biblical. Even if you would brushing hair on Shabbat is only you shouldn't do it. Malach says don't do it, but it's a rabbinical thing.
But you should let your wife do.
Don't tell your wife what to do. The Adat Rambam, Sheyesh Akol Panim Misum Midrabanan. Rambam holds squeezing hair is not from the Torah; it's rabbinic. Since it's rabbinic, should we be afraid of a rabbinic squeezing now in the case of swimming in a pool? It doesn't seem like we should. Says Chacham Yitzchak, Kivan Rambam Pasak She'en Tzechita B'Se'ad, since Rambam holds that squeezing of a hair is not from the Torah. Therefore, I'm going to skip a little bit. Mishum Hachi, En Ligzor Mishum Sechita. You're not going to let someone go in a pool because maybe he'll squeeze his hair, which is anyway rabbinic. It seems to be too much of a stretch, says Chacham Yitzchak. Why? Like we said last week, even if the person puts the towel on his head and squeezes his hair, does he want to squeeze his hair? No, it's a pesik reshe, which we've been talking about for all these weeks. His intention is to dry his hair. Oh, something happened because he dried his hair, the hair squeezed. Does he want the water to come out of his hair? Does he want to squeeze his hair? Not necessarily. He wants to dry his hair. It's a pesik reshe. He doesn't care about the result. It should be allowed. And therefore, he would say, I don't see the problem, and I'm skipping a lot here, with squeezing the hair. Therefore, even when you wash your face in the morning on Shabbat, like we said last week, try not to squeeze the water from your beard. It's rabbinic. Even if it happens, you're not going to Gehinam for this. It's rabbinic. But it's not from the Torah. Okay, and we'll have to talk about, Very good. So, but we'll have to talk about mikveh also later on. How do we go to the mikveh? We're going to have to do this maybe next week. So we addressed the possible problem of exercise, and we said it doesn't seem like it's a big problem. The possible problem of you can't swim because of the raft doesn't seem like it's an issue. Squeezing the hair Doesn't seem like it's an issue. Another issue. What about you might pull out a hair when you dry your head? I have it. What if, I'm very experienced. I have a lot of experience. What about you might pull out your hair when you do it? I don't even want to read this because we just did this last time. Pulling out a hair, right? But that's if you use the real hair cut, a scissors. Pulling out a hair with a brush is drabanan. If you brush your hair, it's drabanan, and so it'll be the same thing. So pulling out a hair will not be rabban. I want to skip to the next one. We'll do one more for today, and that's it. And then we have to finish next week. Niguv b'Shabbat. Is there a problem drying yourself with the towel? Even though the towel will get wet when you do that, which might be washing the towel. Is it a problem that you're washing the towel? Because you're not allowed to soak things in water on Shabbat because it washes them. In bazeh isudibun. Don't tell me that you're washing the towel. It's actually the opposite. Why do I use a towel? Because I want my dirt to go on the towel. I'm not washing the towel. I'm dirtying the towel. That's the classic joke. What dries as how's the joke go? Come on.
What gets wet?
What gets wet and dries at the same time? The towel. Yeah. Just like when you wash your face and your hands on Shabbat. But you can use a towel. Someone will tell you can't use a towel on Shabbat. Actually, some people say that. Like it says in the Gemara, and Shulchan Aruch says that you could. If you read the interesting Shulchan Aruch 301:48, I want to read this. Oh, I just closed the book. 301:48. Shulchan Aruch talks about a towel on Shabbat, and he says, okay. Mutad lirhot yadav min ahar b'Shabbat. You can wash your hands in a river on Shabbat. But you cannot carry the dripped water in Shut Rabim. So we have to address this problem next week. If the pool is not in a private property, it would be carrying. If there's no eruv, it would be a big problem carrying the water. And he says, where's the other one I wanted to read? Tov, hold on. This is the last piece, and then we'll finish it next week. Hold on. What did I do with my little paper? Oh, it's over here. Maran Shulchan Aruch says,
I'm surprised they don't say you can't wash your hands in the river because you might catch fish.
that's nihale. I wanted to find that. I can't find it. Okay.
Can you just like list the other items that
Yeah.
without getting into the detail?
Yeah. Okay. Here it is. Shulchan Aruch 302:10. I just want to read you this. Here it is. Listen to the Shulchan Aruch. Guys, this is Maran Shulchan Aruch. Siman 302. Harohetz yadav. When you wash your hands on Shabbat, tov linagevam becholach zo bezo. It's good to first do like this on Shabbat. Maran Shulchan Aruch says this. Tov. He says good. Where did you ever see Maran says the word tov?
Yeah.
Try to get rid of the water before you go on the towel. So some people say here, Maran Shulchan Aruch is anti-towels because he says you should go like this. Chacham Yitzhak says just the word tov. Tov means mahmid. It's very rare he does this, but that's not called washing a towel. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you basically the other things we have to address, and then we'll get into them next week. The whole list is as follows. Number 1, exercise we addressed. Number 2, swimming, the raft thing we addressed. Number 3, squeezing your hair, we addressed. Number 4, ripping out hair, we addressed this 2 weeks ago or whatever it was before Shavuot. It's a Pesik Reshe, it's fine. What about the towel? You're gonna clean a towel while you're putting water on it? No, because that's not your intention. Next things we have to do? What about the bathing suit? You're going to squeeze your bathing suit when you come out of the pool.
That's the one I always do.
We have to do that next week. And then we have to do, what about you're going to clean your bathing suit in the water? Okay. And then you laugh. And then we have to do, What about the problem of washing on Shabbat? That's a big one. What about washing on Shabbat and hot water? Does it get involved in all that and everything?
But then it goes into the purpose of it, why you're doing it. Are you doing it to wash? Or
But
are you doing
washing is a gezerah. Doesn't washing is a tough one.
Max,
it? He said the Rambam didn't have an issue.
We're gonna have to do this next week.
But the Rambam didn't have an issue.
Rambam doesn't say anything about this.
I know, but I mean, he said you can swim. So
Yeah.
obviously, you know you're watching your body, or
Yeah,
it's about that.
but the Rambam doesn't say hot water. The chitzah is only a problem with hot water. So you have to keep that in mind. There was no heated pools by the Rambam.
My pool stays heated all summer long without heating it.
Okay. And the last thing we have to talk about is, or a lot of people say is, you're going to carry the drips of water in public property. If it's private property, it's fine. If it's a hotel, I don't know, it's probably also private.
What about watering the grass?
Watering the grass is not listed here, but that's one I always heard also.
I heard the
Okay.
bathing suit, but today the bathing suits are,
So that's the end of the list. So
not absorbing.
what's on our list?
These are all the reasons.
That's all the possibilities. Now, next week, we're going to have to wrap up. We're going to get into the last few issues. We have to talk about, especially the hot pool on Shabbat. Again, the Rambam doesn't say a hot pool. We have to talk about what if the pool is hot. We have to talk about, can you go in a mikvah on Shabbat? And if you can you go in a hot mikvah on Shabbat? If you're a man versus a woman, you cannot use hot water on Shabbat. No, Ezra, you missed the whole thing. Ezra, there's a gezerah from the Hachamim. You cannot put your whole body in hot water on Shabbat. So how do you go to a mikvah?
Hot water created artificially?
Good question. Everything besides for Hamei Tiberia.
But again, I mean,
We have to get into it next week.
Why would those hot springs be different than any other?
They're special. The gemara has a whole special reason for them. They're heated. Their heat source is the core
it
of the
looks
earth.
like they're looking for reasons not to. Maybe.
The gemara actually says the hot water from Tiberia is heated by Gehinnom. That's what gemara says. I'm serious. But let's do this next week. And then we have to talk about, after we wrap up all the halakha, is Yom Tov any different? Which one of these
Well,
problems?
so far I haven't heard any real problems.
Baruch Hashem, amen. Rabbi Hanan Shalom. Nasa Kadosh Baruch Hu Dazu Patel Tzedek 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 Tzedek
Yeah.
Adonai Hates Lema'an Tzidku Yagid Torah V'Yadiyet.
Man.
Amen.
Yeah.